The opinions of our panelists do not necessarily reflect those of Bang Zoom Entertainment or Revision3.com.
This episode of AnimeTV is brought to you by Gamefly and Squarespace. Welcome to AnimeTV.
Welcome! It's the only show which reviews anime, manga, Asian pop culture, and video games.
That's right, and today we have another Underexposed segment.
That's right, it's called Gunsmith Cats. Very cool stuff. You'll like it.
And we're also reviewing a fan-favorite anime called Darker Than Black.
So let's get to it.
Let's do it.
AnimeTV, go!
AnimeTV, go!
Welcome to our HEMA segment, everyone. HEMA means free time. That's right.
Our panelists are a group of anime experts. They're going to tell you what they've been reading, watching, and playing.
And what have you been reading, watching, or playing?
I've been reading The Unwritten.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's a comic book, a graphic novel. It's really cool. The plot is kind of hard to explain, so I'm going to let you check that one out for yourself.
Yeah, so go check it out. But first, let's talk to our panelists.
All right, thank you, Johnny and/or Jonathan and Christina. Depending on which one of you is hosting. HEMA, right? What have we been doing? Personally, not much, but how about you guys? Laura?
I know you haven't been doing much.
Yeah, I know. I sit around sometimes.
Okay, well, I'm going to talk about another cartoon today, if that's okay. It's not an anime, but it's just as good as any great anime also. Last week, I mentioned MTV's Oddities, The Head. I wanted to talk about the other great series that came out of MTV's Oddities, The Max.
Oh, I know that.
Isn't it awesome?
The little white guys that go,
They eat everything.
Yeah, they eat everything.
All right, so
I've seen that yet.
listen. So in 1995, MTV's Oddities, one show was The Head, the other was The Max. The Max cartoon is based off of the Max comic by Sam Keith. And the cartoon doesn't go as in depth as the comic does in terms of the characters' relationships and what happens and all that. But just like the other great MTV show, Aeon Flux, it had that amazing effect on me where it just hypnotically sucked me in, and it's so cool and different and weird. Again, the same case where I had never seen anything like it up to that point, and I never have since.
Yeah, it's very stylized.
Very, very
Even
cool.
the comic is, yeah.
Different. And it just, I was waiting forever for it to come out on DVD, and finally in December, so 4 months ago, it finally became available on DVD on Amazon.
Did Hanukkah Claus bring it to you? Hanukkah Claus like, knock, knock. Who is it? It's Hanukkah Claus. I brought you the Max.
I have issues with my Amazon basket. It has too much in it, and I need to empty it out before I purchase. But yeah, it's finally available on DVD to buy now, and it was a long time coming. Plot-wise, I can't sum it up. It's about a girl named Julie who, and also the voice acting is phenomenal. It's so soothing. The voices are incredible.
Is it that show about that big purple guy?
Yeah.
With
he wears a mask.
I've seen that, yeah.
He wears a purple suit.
There was a comic about that.
Yeah. Yes.
It was based on the comic by Sam Keith, and he's a very brilliant comic guy too, I think. I like all his work. He does very different kind of stuff. And cool, interesting stories, and different kind of stories that deal with heavy issues. But the Max doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know what he looks like under his mask. And it's about his relationship with Julie.
It's very Kane the wrestler. Like, I was burnt in a fire. No, I'm not. I'm totally
fine.
Healed. What the hell? Okay.
And the cool thing,
fans.
I will say one thing about the show, that whenever I want to show it to someone, and if they don't like it, every time I've shown it to someone and that person is like, this is too weird, I don't like it, they've turned out to be a douche.
That's your boyfriend. You know if they're boyfriend material or not. You're like, hey, Charles, sit down and watch this with me.
Yeah, Tess,
you don't like it? He's not a keeper.
Exactly, yeah. And I'd be like, how, you think they're like, yeah, it's just too weird. Like, they're a douche. If they don't like the Max,
I will say that the comic, though, was one of the first ones I'd ever read where there was less like text and more visual. Like, it was like you turn the page and be like, I don't have to read anything.
Yeah.
I don't have to read anything because the panels were just, I mean, they were beautifully done, but there was a simplistic, you know, kind of divinity in it. So
and there's a quietness. There's a quietness to the show, and also so the plot also there's the real world, and then there's the outback. It's hard to explain, but the outback is where the Izzes come from, and where weird things happen, and it's a cool, different show. It's very dear to my heart.
It's
up
unique.
there. Yeah,
So can you buy it anywhere now, like Best Buy, wherever?
Amazon. I think it's Amazon.
So it's not like
exclusive.
widely.
Amazon's everywhere.
Yeah.
I can get Amazon anywhere in the world.
Nick, what have you been doing?
I have been playing, I think I mentioned this maybe the last time I was on the couch. It's a game called The Far Wilds. And you might actually be into it because it's kind of like Magic the Gathering meets Heroes of Might and Magic a little bit, because there's like the new heroes that they have with the three-dimensional,
right?
And even the 3DO is like bankrupt, and they're like, please, we don't have any money. Buy our stuff. Yeah, buy our stuff. That was a shameless plug. My father works for 3DO, or what was 3DO. Anyway, it's fun because there's 5 different factions now. When you first started off, there was only 3. Of course, there's like the zombies, which you would love, vampires, that kind of stuff. And there's like the Sylvan, which are the elves and the forest folk, and then there's the mountain folk, of course.
That sounds exactly like
it does.
Might and Magic.
Yeah, and then or Magic too. That there's fire. There's like, you know,
black,
earth.
red,
there's
white.
Black. There's death magic, and then there's like the soldiers and the kind of scions. And then there's also another faction, which are like elemental creatures. But basically what happens is you can play online. Of course, you can always buy gold. You know, I love these games that are online, and I'm always like, oh man, these guys have such great cards. Well, you know, either they win them, which you can get phantom cards, which last 20 days, and you know, you can keep playing. I mean, you can kick the computer's ass like a couple times an hour and get 5 or 10 cards, and then you can use them to build your decks. But sometimes you get janky cards you don't want, just like when you would buy a booster pack of Magic. You're like, okay, yeah. So it's fun. It's definitely something that consumes my time because I want to get the phantom cards and I want to get better cards so that I can play other people. But it's turn-based because you make a deck out of 40 cards that you have, and you get 3 default decks, so you can use those 3, and then those are your building blocks. And then eventually, as you build your card base, the phantom cards, you can start playing in tourneys and stuff like that. And once you get the cards, you make the deck, and just like mana, or like in Magic,
Just like mono?
mana or mana in Magic, you get flux, and the flux lets you play the spells, and then then it becomes like a chessboard, and you move the pieces that you have. That come to life. It's kind of cool. You should check it out. Okay. You really should. It's something different that I haven't seen online.
Isn't mana another word for bat poo in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective 2?
Right. So
where is that? Here you get. Yeah.
Well, like I said, I've actually not been doing much, but I recently. You know, a few friends of mine, they have PS3s, and they call me up. It's like, hey, I just finished, you know, God of War 3, you know, whatever. And to me, like, it's not so much big news anymore these days when people finish games, because, like, I remember back in the day when you finished, like, let's say the first Mega Man game, that was an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Because
that was hella hard.
Right?
It was hella hard.
That game actively tried to kill you at any given opportunity. And, you know, same thing to a lesser extent with Super Mario Brothers, the first one, you know? That game was fucking hella hard.
Yeah.
I went back recently and tried to play it, and I just, like, wow, my 6-year-old self would just point at me and just
like,
laugh.
even if you were going to go to the Warp Worlds, where you would get to level 4, where Lakatu, that asshole that has the cloud, chucking out spiked turtles, I'm just like, you know, as a kid, I was like, oh, damn, it's the guy in the cloud, you know,
And later on, they stack them, like, with 3 right next to each other, so you have to, like, hop off them.
Yeah, and then level 8, where the guys that throw the hammers, you're like, I could never figure out, I just blindly jumped, and was like, I hope I hit him in the head with my feet, because if I didn't, I was like,
I don't know how we used to play these games as kids, because I remember when I was a little kid, I barely had to look at the screen for the first, like, 5 levels, because I had it so memorized.
Yeah.
You had to memorize it. It was like precision jumping.
Super Mario Brothers 3, that was my game.
3 at some point.
But I was
started...
like, you have to be a certain, you know, that was my prime video game age.
Right.
You
At
know?
3, it started getting a little easier, but like the original Super Mario Brothers, the
what about
original
2?
Mega Man. 2 doesn't
2 was
count.
great if you played
Yeah.
Luigi because you jump over everything.
Yeah.
At first, I was like, "Why is he so weird to jump?" And he's like,
2 wasn't a real
with his
Super
feet.
Mario Brothers. But,
Yeah.
I mean, I just think nowadays games have gotten a little like most of them are interactive.
Everyone has a
movies.
life bar. Everyone has a life bar. You
Most
can
of
get
them are
hit
interactive
and not die
movies.
right away.
Right. It's like look at Heavy Rain. That's not a game. It's just it's just a game. It's just a movie
I have
that
a
you
friend
press
who
buttons
loves
in.
Heavy Rain. He's
not
like,
a
it's
game,
better
though.
than a TV show. I know. I
It's
didn't get it.
it's literally a movie where you sit there and kind of press buttons whenever you want something different.
Yeah.
It's like one of those choose your own adventure stories.
yeah.
But you paid like $60 for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My people love it though.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I was so I was happy that they released Mega Man 10. Because it goes back to that old school, the game trying to actively kill you at any given time. Like it's hard, and I think they should release more games that are actually difficult to play. So when you tell your friends, "Hey, I just beat whatever God of War 14," oh my god,
hell, you did?
Yeah.
Like really?
How did
You're
you
like,
pass the 16 clouds throwing hammers?
Yeah.
Trying to,
How'd you do it, man?
I think it should be something that you can tell your friends that you finished, and they're like, oh, that's. It's not just like, oh, that's cool. So back to you guys, Johnny, Christina.
Next up on Anime TV, Jonathan Messa's segment Underexposed. He's exploring a 1995 anime called Gunsmith Cats. So stick around.
Gamefly is the largest online video game rental service and offers you a choice from over 7,000 new and classic titles across all handhelds and consoles. With plans starting at $15.95 a month, Gamefly members can rent 1 to 4 games at a time and keep them for as long as they like. There are no late fees, no due dates, and shipping is always free. Once you're done playing a game, send it back and Gamefly will send you the next available game on your list. If you really like the game you're playing, simply click Keep It on the Gamefly website and the game is yours at a discounted price. Gamefly will even mail you the case and manuals free of charge. AnimeTV fans get a 15-day free trial when they go to gamefly.com/anime.
Now it's time for Underexposed, Jonathan's segment. He's going to be talking about some anime that you might not have heard of, maybe it flew under the radar or just didn't get the limelight that it deserved.
That's right, and this one is totally cool, and I'm sure you guys have not heard of it. It's called Gunsmith Cats, and it goes back to being anime about chicks with guns.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like chicks with guns?
So take it away, Jonathan.
Welcome to Underexposed. It's another episode with your man J Money. What's up in the easy? Today we're talking about Gunsmith Cats, guys, another anime about chicks with guns. And thank you, Roy. This was your recommendation, and I like it. Very well done. So it is about Rally and Minnie May. They are 2 girls. Rally is a gun owner of this place called Gunsmith Cats. It's a gun shop. And then Minnie May is her younger assistant. Now they're cute girls. Rally's like 19 and Minnie May's 17, although they look even younger, they look in the anime. And so they own this gun shop and they get bounty hunting jobs on the side to sort of, make a little money, do a little, and they get blackmailed by a cop named Bill to do these jobs. Now Bill may sound like a bad guy because he's blackmailing them, but he's actually a pretty fun character. He's kind of sleazy and kind of, goofy at the same time. And I really, when you guys watch this anime, if you could picture Keiji doing his voice, because in my head, Keiji would do a great job. But anyways, moving on from that, the show is about these bounty hunters who get blackmailed. They go in and have to do bounty hunting jobs, and they sort of get in over their head, and it ends up being a lot of fun. The show is kind of quirky and silly, where Rally, the head character, she's sort of like pop, 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 take you down with guns, and Minnie May, she uses bombs. And really, that's what she does. She jumps into a room and goes, "My turn!" and blows up everyone, and it's a lot of fun. It's great stuff. Anyways, so the show is only 3 episodes long, so it's really easy to watch. It'll take up an hour and a half of your time, and it's totally worth it. It's one you could throw in whenever. It's released by ADV Films, so you guys can check it out. And a fun fact about this, the creators of Gunsmith Cats didn't know what a gun shop was like, because in Japan, I guess they don't have gun shops. So they actually went to Chicago, where the story takes place, and they studied the city and went to gun shops so they could learn how to create a gun shop for the anime. Very cool thing, guys. Another side fact, I would suggest that you watch it in English. And the reason why is because they did a great job, and it actually works better in English just because they make it really silly, and the Japanese is a little more serious, and I think this anime works better when it's silly. So congratulations to Amanda Wynn Lee, Kimberly Bates, and Rob Mungle. You guys did a great job in voice acting on this one. So guys, Gunsmith Cats, check it out today by ADV Films. Very cool. Pop, 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 pop. My turn.
Next on Anime TV, right after this break, we're reviewing Darker Than Black, so stick around.
Hey guys, this is KG from AnimeTV. They told me to come here and promote this thing for Squarespace. It's a publishing system for anyone looking to build a blog, portfolio, or any kind of website, really. I actually use the system a lot. I mean, I'm a working film actor, so this kind of tool really helps me out when I'm fiddling with, like, you know, headshot portfolios or web design for pilots and such. And you know, you don't even need to know coding or anything. I mean, I could spend a lot of money to get a highbrow website, or I could be lazy and use Squarespace and get the exact same thing with a fraction of the work. It's really that easy. Check it out, and don't forget to use the promotional code AnimeTV. All one word.
Now it's time for our review of Darker Than Black. So Jonathan's gonna tell us what the show is about.
Sure. It stars this guy named Hay. He has electricity powers. He doesn't really feel much. Kind of eats a lot. Because there's this giant cataclysmic event that changed everything, and so now he's an assassin for this organization. Is that why you brought me here?
That sounds very interesting. Let's check out the clip.
Darker Than Black.
BK-201. I know the rumors. That he's cursed. Shadowed by riddles and death. But what's the real story?
Are you really a contractor at all? In the old days, you were more ruthless than anyone. You were called the Black Reaper for a reason. Even though you weren't changed like us by the power.
Why are we the only ones left?
I don't know.
I stopped trying to find the meaning a long time ago. It's the price I pay for my contract.
That's the price of your contract, huh? You've got it pretty rough.
Darker Than Black, where the British guys actually sound British. All right, well, what did you guys think about the Darker Than Black? Laura?
Well, I've already talked about how much I love Darker Than Black in my HEMA. I can expand on another thing, which I didn't get to talk about, was this anime has also one of my favorite death scenes in all of anime.
Is it that red-haired girl?
Yeah, it's Havoc. Wait, we have to say spoiler. Spoiler.
Does it really count, though? It happens in the first,
early in the season one.
2 episodes.
Yeah, it happens 7 around air.
Is it 7? It felt like it happened a lot earlier.
Let's just say spoiler. Anyway, one of my favorite death scenes, so well done. She's got spikes of ice through her, and Hay's so wonderful, and he puts her down gently, and she puts her hand on his face, and he doesn't know what to say, and she opens her mouth to say something, and she can't say anything, and she dies. And it's so good.
She has ice in her lungs.
Yeah. She's got spikes of ice through her. It's a beautiful death scene.
But I think we're so used to seeing someone say, I just wanted to tell you that I love...
It's a beautiful...
And you knew what they were going to say.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, quiet death scene where you wanted more. You wanted to know what she was going to say, and it's just exactly how it should be done. It was wonderful. Wonderful. And we're up to we're up to episode 2 now in Gaiden. That's what's out now.
That's it? Just 2 have been released about?
They're coming out very slowly for some reason.
I thought they were all out by now. No?
I've only seen 2.
Fair enough.
Up on...
Well, what else did you think
about the magic place where I watch them?
The anime tree.
The anime tree. There are only 2 episodes hanging from the anime tree that I got from...
watch legally.
That I got from Roy.
What else did you think about season 1, though?
I love season 1. Season 2... I don't like that Hay is not as much a main character.
Right. What do you like about season 1?
I just told you, Havoc. And Mizuki.
Right, yeah.
She's a great female.
The superintendent.
She's awesome. She's a great female. Well, what I like about season 1, what I like about the whole thing, is it has a fantastic lead character. He's interesting. You want to watch him. He's good looking.
His name means black, by the way.
Yeah.
And he wears a Harry Potter mask.
And also, again, a great female. Like, I don't know if you'd call her the lead, but she's she's counter. No, Yin is the
We're talking about that female detective with the glasses.
Oh, Mizuki, yeah.
Yeah, she's really great, and I want them to make a season 3 so that Hei and Mizuki can get together, because they're a great couple. They would make a great couple, and she's totally got a thing for him. That's why she follows him everywhere. And every time they almost come together, like, it's so quick. In season 2, it's like
he tries to kill her like several times.
She thinks he's a tranny at one point. He's buying bras, a wig, and high heels or something at the store for somebody else, and she's like, "Are they for you?" And he's like, no.
I'm just Chinese. Nick, what did you think about Dark and Black season 1?
You know, as far as the character design goes, I thought it was. Studio Bones did it, so the animation is great. As far as the design of the actual characters go, Havoc, who she had talked about before, they said that she was a prostitute, and I don't know, like, what kind of Eddie Murphy kind of guys were looking for girls with a little something extra, because she looked like a dude to me. She looked raggedy. I was like, what kind of cheap prostitute are you buying if you're going to get She looked like a boy. And there was another character that looked, the one that kept blowing things up, looked like a little girl.
That's why Hei fed her. She was thin.
Yeah, but I was like, she looks like a meth head prostitute. I was like, I wouldn't want to touch that with Keiji's penis. Anyway, the point of the story is that the character design is this is another thing that befuddled me. They have this. I drew this again. The Pac-Man eyes, the Namco eyes. I don't get it. I don't understand. Like at first I thought all the dolls had these, but then I realized they don't. And that other characters had the Pac-Man eye as well, and I was like, what delineates that you get a Pac-Man eye or a regular round eye? Like, it didn't make any sense. Like, the pupil was. Yeah, it just didn't make any sense to me. As far as the plot goes, I think that Studio Bones was like, we're in cahoots with Pizza Hut, because every single time they would show a cityscape, it was like, Pizza Hut. And
oh my God, it's so true.
I was going to start doing like a count, like Pizza Hut / do that actually. If you watch it, every time you see an advertisement for Pizza Hut, just go,
I think it was like,
or drink, make it a drinking game, and be all like,
Pizza Hut. It wasn't like Pizza Slice.
No, it was this one was Pizza Hut.
Really?
But they did do other kind of advertisements for when he first goes in to fix the TV for the old lady in the very first episode or so. It says Somi, S-O-M-I-E, and I was like, oh, that's funny. I wrote that down. That's a play on words for Sony. And then later on, there's a McDonald's burger, which is like McDonald's. Okay, yeah, and it has like the arches and everything, and it's like everything. But Pizza Hut was the only thing that was like Pizza Hut and pizza, and like we're gonna get some pizza. And I was like, of course, I was eating Domino's at the time, but that's another story entirely. As far as the plot goes, it reminded me a lot of Red Garden. And I don't know if you've seen this one about the girls that are...
Are they like the faux Buffys?
And you're kind of just like, what is going on? And there's always somebody that knows. And it's annoying to me because they're like, I know, but it's best that you don't know everything. And I'm like, no, I kind of want to know a little bit more than what you're giving me. It's kind of like you're stroking me a little bit, and then you're like, haha, I'm not going to finish. And, you know, to me, it's like a tease. And the Heaven's Gate, the Hell's Gate, the gate, you know, it's evil. It's not. There's these flowers, and I'm just like, what's going on? You know, was it entertaining? Yes. Did it confuse me? Yes.
It can be
I mean, I was just like, you know, what is going on? And I really, it's not that I need to see action all the time, and I do like plot development. But what pissed me off was that they kept saying, it's like, if you know, I'll have to kill you. And I'm just like, come on. You know, I can handle the truth. You know, it's like, you can't handle, I can't handle the truth, Jack Nicholson.
I'll be honest. If it wasn't for Hei, I wouldn't care about this series. I will say, though, the plot is a lot easier to follow in Gaiden, which is why I'm loving it. So
they're not establishing anything anymore in Gaiden. They figure you already know.
Yeah, it's just more simplified. Right. And I find I'm excitedly awaiting now Ep 3 of Gaiden.
Actually, we haven't actually talked about what the plot of the show is, so really quick.
We can explain it.
Darker Than Black is about, it takes place in Japan, and something happens called Heaven's Gate happens. Where somewhere in, I forget what country. South America. There was this war, South America, an event called Heaven's Gate happens, it wipes out a good portion of the country, and suddenly all the stars in the sky are replaced by fake stars. And every one of those stars
corresponds to
like
contractor.
A contractor, which is like these people with, you know, powers and You know, for example, Hey, the main character, he has like lightning powers. He has like a steel cable he throws to people and electrocutes them. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. The fight scenes are ace.
Yeah.
Especially in season 2, I will say that. The fight scenes are fantastic.
And the whole thing is contractors are supposed to have no human emotions, so a lot of them are part of like the syndicate organization, or they work
There's
for
a talking
people.
cat.
Some of them work. There's a talking cat.
Which I thought was
Very
actually
Bleach.
very cool.
Yeah.
That was a cool idea.
Yeah.
As far as character design, Mao is a really good
Mao's
character. And then, you know, it's like, here's what the 50-50 of it is that you have Mao, who's such a great character, a lot of like flavor to him. And then you have someone that in like, I think episode 8, where Mizuki happens to be on the street outside the hotel, and it happens to be her best friend from high school's birthday party, and they happen to go upstairs into the, you know, crime boss's place where there's no cameras. They get changed, they come back down to the party, and she wants to kill her for some reason. Spoiler, I guess. I mean, but it's just was so like, it's so, and then her bodyguard, who looks like an elf.
Right, he has pointed ears.
What the hell? Like, what were they thinking?
I forget
It was
what
like
the
Spock.
I forget what his name
what?
was. Do you remember what his name was?
His name was started with a W. Wei.
Something. He was Chinese, and I was watching this with a friend, and I just wanted someone in the show to point it out. Because no one else has pointed ears.
Be like, did you miss the cosplaying Lord of the Rings, you know?
I wanted one of the characters to go, hey, that guy has pointed ears.
Yeah.
Just someone. No one said anything about it.
At all.
But I actually appreciated the show because the main character was not the central focus for a lot of the episodes. It felt like that they were doing a lot of side stories in the show. And it was nice because, you know, they focus on him for the first few, and then he's kind of like a background player in a lot of the shows.
It's like the thread that kind of ties everything together.
It's like there's all these great little stories, and Hay just happens to be in them doing whatever he does.
Yeah, walking on the street. Oh, I ran into these people.
Looking cool. He looks cool.
Right. The main plot doesn't really advance too far somewhere in the middle, but like Hay's own story doesn't really get going until the last portion of the series.
Which it could be an annoyance for some people.
It's some people, but I mean the stories in between I think were like funny and good enough to really fill in the extra portions. And my favorite character was actually the British guy.
Oh.
Do you remember that guy?
November 11.
November 11. And it doesn't confuse me until I watched part of season 2 because his partner was the you know, the chick with the blue hair, and she can summon rain and stuff. And they paired together because was it April?
Yeah.
And they paired them
And
together
July was the
because
little boy.
he could like freeze her water that she summons.
It was very Wonder Twin powers activate.
Yeah.
He needed her to make rain so that he could make things fly out of the rain.
He was the smoke.
And he has a smoke to pay the price of whatever.
Yeah.
But
and the guy who did his voice in Japanese is the same guy who does Kakashi.
It confused me because during season 2, you see the female agent of the pair work by herself.
Yes.
And you see that she summons her powers, and it's not just to make rain. Her rain can actually go through people.
Yeah.
So
why does she even need him?
Why does she need that guy?
Because she's badass. Because she's so
Why does she
badass.
need him?
Because he's good looking.
He needs her for obvious
Well,
reasons.
he's the brains.
Yeah.
He's the brains.
But like whenever they attack someone in the first season, it's always like him using his ice thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, that chick just could have rained death upon like the entire
We even talked about
cast.
voiceover.
Voiceover is really good.
Yeah.
I felt. It was one of those shows that I actually would like watching in English better.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean they
do the accents.
They have the accents.
Yeah. They go there, which is great. That's
this
why
guy's English. He sounds English. You know?
Everyone hated me for saying that Monsters dub was bad, but it was.
I didn't hate you.
They didn't even. I'm just saying there was no German accent. Here they're like, I'm from England. I'm from MI6.
How is Hay in English?
Hay in English was really good. I felt.
Yeah.
It suited the characters. He wasn't downplayed, but he was quiet and intense. So
Okay.
I forget who does his voice. I looked it up at some point and I just completely forgot his name.
I just know Kakashi is the same guy as your and because I was like,
So
that's my guy.
Generally positive across the spectrum. Final thoughts, Laura. What do you feel about Dark and Black?
I've said before I love it, but I like it mostly because of the main character. There are other characters that I love. Havoc. I love her story. I thought that was so well done. I'm loving Gaiden. It's definitely better than average, and yeah, and I like it. And I watched it on my own, you know, and I will keep watching it on my own.
Mostly for Hay.
Yeah, for him.
Fair enough.
He's a hottie. Hello.
Nick.
I think that the story gets confusing, and for people that are fans of something like Bleach or Naruto, it might be. I know you're a fan of those both, but I think it takes a certain kind of patience to watch this particular show, because they're at some points they get in like episode 7 and 8, they introduce the detective and his slapstick comedy team, and I'm kind of like, what just happened here? It's almost like I turned the page of a new book, and I was like, this is different. This is very different, and it's to the point where it's like it's supposed to be realistic, and then all of a sudden she's smiling and she leans the detective's partner, and she leans in, and her hair forms the shape of a heart, and I'm just kind of like, that would never happen in this real world that they're trying to establish. So for me, you have to have patience. It's very much like the Rin, how at the end you get gangbanged by information and you're like, oh, well, that's what it all meant, Oh,
yeah.
In the beginning, in the first, 10 to 12, you're just kind of like, okay, I'm just waiting for you to tell me what this is all about, and it doesn't happen. So if you are patient with it, it does end up, going there to a place where you can understand it. The animation's great. The voice acting, I think, is fairly well done. And it's definitely worth a look, but you got to be patient.
And I don't like Hei and Rin. I forgot to say that. That's not a good couple. He's like 22 and she looks like she's 12.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's like a doll. There's dolls that follow the agents around, and they act as their eyes. They can spy on people.
Well, they go off together, and I don't know.
There's great pedophile jokes about Hay in the second season where he only hangs around kids.
No,
and it's hilarious.
No.
Overall, I thought the show was good. I watched it all the way through. I didn't feel as if it dragged anywhere in particular. Some of the stories are kind of like, okay, we could have done without that. The whole detective rescuing the cat thing, it's okay, fair enough.
But it wasn't needed.
It wasn't needed.
It was their version of filler, I suppose.
It was clever filler, is what it was, where it doesn't feel like it's filler, because enough of Hay comes in where, he's always in the background going, this is sort of important, right?
Right.
While you're rescuing this cat, I'm killing people for electricity.
And he may or may not have stubble.
We're on the same blimp, traveling to wherever.
Oh, at least at the end of season 2, he cleaned up again. Cut his hair.
I mean, it's a clever show. I mean, you don't really get into the plot until like the 12th, 14th, 16th episode, but I think it's pretty enjoyable till then. So yeah, Darker Than Black, Funimation,
Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Give it a shot.
We like it.
Cool. Oh, so that's what Darker Than Black is.
I'm still a little confused. I'll have to finish watching the show. It was really cool. What I saw was awesome.
Yeah, let's hear your thoughts about Darker Than Black on our forums. And also, don't forget to go to GoAnimeTV.com and put your fan play videos up there for our next segments for those.
Yes, please do that. And come back next week because we're reviewing Summer Wars.
Yeah, Summer Wars. And don't forget to fan us on Facebook.
And follow us on Twitter. I'm Christina B.
I'm Jonathan Messa. AnimeTV, go!
Nah.
Bang Zoom.